Hey guys, welcome back to another video here at alliseeisW, where we talk about stocks, Bitcoin, and finance. Today, I wanted to cover the overall Bitcoin mining sector and really talk about Mara, a Bitcoin mining company, ticker MARA, just to go through the details with the company updates as well as my overall price targets with Mara. Just recently in this week, including last week, we've seen the price of Bitcoin fluctuating, especially after ramping up to the $100,000 range. And now we see that psychological barrier breakthrough, but now we're seeing the price of Bitcoin fluctuate where it goes above 100,000 and it drops down below 100,000. Most of you are wondering, is now a good time to buy more Mara? Is it time to dollar cost average? Should I be holding or should I be selling? We'll cover more details on what I think is going to happen in the coming days, weeks, and months, especially for Bitcoin miners and Mara. And we'll talk more about just the stock, including the company overall updates, and talk about some of the financials. Now, if you're new to this channel, please make sure to smash the like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you. Now, first, let's look at the overall technicals and fundamental analysis of Mara. So we're looking at an overall just 5-year range here back in, just the early days here back in like 2021, we saw the price of Mara running up to like close to $80 here, where the RSI just ramped up significantly in the year 2021. And what we have here set is the target that I believe will likely be achieved as we carry over into the year 2025. So I'm forecasting that as soon as we start retesting the range here of like $35, we saw $35 get achieved in early February of this year. Once it retests the $34, which we saw recently back in like November Monday timeframe, it went up to like close to about $30 during the trading time. But I think that because we've been seeing the reduction here, I think that there's going to be a spike back up. And we saw the entire Bitcoin mining sector got hit, not just Mara. So I wouldn't be so worried about Mara. We have to also factor in the fundamentals here, but just looking at it from a technical standpoint, RSI has been dropping. It's been sold quite significantly, but I think just based on the technicals, the fact that it's above the Ichimoku cloud here, that gives me the signal that we're going to see this bounce back here. And the good news is that we saw the crossing between the Ichimoku cloud here back in the 11th of November. I think that with this hiccup of the price dropping down, here's a great opportunity to continue dollar cost averaging down to say if your overall cost is higher, or even taking an opportunity with Mara. I think that come the end of December, we can easily see this test the $30 range. The question is whether it'll break through 34.90. It's possible because I think anything can happen with the remaining 3 weeks of December. But for it to break through the $34 range, we have to see the signal momentum in the $30 range, which I think we can see coming up very soon here. And as we see the first resistance breakthrough here, I think that we can start seeing this retest here, getting back up to the $50 range. We know that in the last bull market cycle, it wasn't until around this time frame when Mara broke out. So I think that we have up through April to see some bullish runs in the mining sector. And of course, with Mara, with their fundamentals being the number one hodler right now, we'll go through the numbers, and the number one Bitcoin mining company in terms of its hash. We'll go through the recent announcement. I think that Mara has that bullish breakthrough potential just from a technical standpoint. Just to zoom in here, give you some more visuals here. So as we zoom in here, we saw that recent drop off. Good news is that the cloud the resistance cloud is below here, but let's say if we have the cloud, Ichimoku cloud above the price target, that's going to drive down we'll see descending resistance, and that will cause a gravitational pull down of the price. So just based on this technical methodology here, I think because the clouds are below the price, we can start seeing this ramp back up, especially with the RSI dropping as well. So I think that in the coming weeks, we're going to see a continuous ascending increase in the resistance value, which we'll see some retests coming up here. So just to share with you on X here, so Michael Saylor just, he just reposted Mara's updates here. In that Mara, they used their proceeds with the $2 billion approved zero coupon convertible. They acquired 11,774 Bitcoin for 1.1 billion at the price of 96,000 per Bitcoin, which is the current value of Bitcoin as we speak today. But overall, a 12.3 quarter to date increase with the Bitcoin yield and 47.6 year to date with the acquisition of more Bitcoin. So as of yesterday, Mara holds greater than 40,000 Bitcoin on their balance sheet now, currently valued at 3.9 billion. So can you imagine, let's say, once Bitcoin breaks through 200,000, their market cap is just going to rise significantly. It's not a matter of if. We know that at one point Bitcoin price is going to go up. I do think that heading into 2025 in Q1, we're going to see that ramp up from like 120K to 150K is my forecast with the price of Bitcoin. So we're in that bullish state. If it follows the continuous historical trend from the prior bull markets post halvings with the price of Bitcoin. So that's very good news. Just seeing that Mara, I mean, they're number 2 now in terms of hodler company. So they're like 10% of what MicroStrategy holds. To give you more flavor on just the announcement today, Mara, they announced that they achieved their milestone of 50 hash. So they're making big moves, power moves. In fact, they've more than doubled their hash rate in this year alone. And I think that just speaks to their overall bolstered sentiment of operational efficiency, being the number 1 hodler miner company and number 1 company in terms of highest throughput with mining Bitcoin. In fact, last month, November, they had a record high of like 900 Bitcoins mined. Out of all the miners, even though there's more difficulty with mining, we know there's about 2 million Bitcoins out there that can continue to be mined. So it's more difficult, but with the increase in their hash now to 50 hash, that just shows why they're able to accumulate much more Bitcoin on their reserve, and also to support the U.S. Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. I'm forecasting that in the future, 2025, we're going to see some announcement from the government, possibly some government partnerships with Mara and other high-end Bitcoin mining companies with that HODL approach. Now, just to give you overall updates with the Mara website here, so they're a digital asset compute to support the energy transformation. They operate in like 4 continents with 16 data centers. And at the time of their update with the website here, 46.1 exahash, but they've got up to 50 hash rate with 1,500 megawatt available compute capacity. So who are we with Mara? I mean, they're a global leader in digital asset compute that develops and deploys innovative technologies to build a more sustainable and inclusive future. So Mara, they secure the world's preeminent blockchain ledger and supports the energy transformation by converting clean, stranded, or otherwise underutilized energy into economic value. So just what recent announcement that Mara announced was that because they're focused on reusable energy, they've also just acquired wind farms. So now they're tapping into the area of like Texas to leverage sustainable energy to mine Bitcoin. So because they've expanded out to Texas, that just really allows for them to expand their overall global infrastructure all around the world. And in addition to that, just with the overall Bitcoin block space here, just with Mara supporting the United States Strategic Bitcoin Reserve with the goal of having about 1 million Bitcoins acquired by the United States government in the next 4 years. And just with October data, Mara announcing a 25 megawatt micro data center in Texas and North Dakota, which really allows for them to continue transforming their business. Now, let's take a look at the financial data I wanted to share with you here. So just with the Q3 2024 update, I know we're looking at hindsight information here, but just to give you overall context on what was announced. So during their announcement, they announced 40 exahash, but we know that now it's gone up 50 exahash. So can you imagine by the time they announced their Q4 data, how much the hash rate will be? And then during their announcement of Q3 results, they're at only 26,000 Bitcoin. So they've more than doubled their Bitcoin on their balance sheet, leveraging the MSTR approach. And just when you think about the average cost to mine, 42,000 Bitcoin, and with the purchase of Bitcoin at that time, 60,000 per Bitcoin. Obviously, with the overall average cost, it will go up. But I think because they can mine at that average cost of 42,000, the overall average cost of Bitcoin is going to be much lower. We scale out, zoomed out perspective, price of Bitcoin won't be definitely over the 100,000, but can you imagine the price of Bitcoin once it goes up $1 million in the long term? So overall, their hodls increased from quarter over quarter. They've increased their revenue. I see here 35% year over year from last year compared to Q3 of this year. Energized hash rates increased significantly from 19 to 36, now 50. So we'll see more year over year, month over month increase with the hash rate. Bitcoin production, obviously, we see it down from a year to year perspective. But overall, when you compare it to all the other miners, they're just dominating with the Bitcoin production, in addition to blocks one as well. So I don't want to go through the overall income statement. We know that obviously with the Bitcoin halving, it resulted in a net income loss with earnings per share being impacted with the financial expected results. But here you see the exahash just growing. Q4, I mean, end of Q4, it will likely be more than 50. So we'll continue to see this rise in the exahash. And I believe that there's more replacements of the miner fleet that will continue to happen through 2025. So that's just not the end of overall improved efficiency with the Mara infrastructure. So that is what I really want to share with you. But I think with Mara's expansion strategy up through this year as well as into 2025, as they continue to deploy the S21 Pros and immersion cooling all around like Texas, New England, different locations that have third-party hosted sites, that's really just going to improve their performance and efficiency and really start bringing in positive return on cash flow. And just with the understanding that there's certain sites where they're installing thousands of S21 Pro miners and upgrading their software. So from just a value standpoint, I think that just overall with Mara, I'm forecasting that sometime in March, we can easily see the price reach over beyond $50. If not, it can go up even more. When the bull run happens, it can just run up where there's not going to be like a heavy resistance. There's going to be that immediate ascending, resistance. And we've seen what has happened in the last bull run. And I think that we can definitely see that bullish run with the miners, especially with Mara, for example. So I'm curious to see what your price prediction is with Mara. Are you buying more? Are you holding? Are you selling? Let me know what your thoughts are down below. And please make sure to hit the like and subscribe for more related content. Thank you guys.